It's beautiful, but let's be real, it's not always easy. It can bring out our deepest fears, our strongest desires, and sometimes our most confusing patterns. Welcome to Love Better, a space for honest, soul deep conversations about relationships, attachments, and what it really means to love and be loved. I am Shazmin Bank, and if you've ever questioned why love feels so complicated, you are not alone. Let's unpack this together. If you are anxiously attached, one of the first things you need to start getting very comfortable about is the fact that you have to learn to express your needs. And you have to learn to be so comfortable with the fact that you do have needs. And the word neediness almost puts anxious people off as though it's wrong to have these incredible needs. It's wrong to want out of a relationship. I think it's amazing when you are anxiously attached to be somebody that has a lot of needs. The only disconnect when you're anxiously attached is you feel very guilty for having those needs. You end up being somebody that feels you are putting too much onto your partner, you are asking for too much, you are being too demanding. And a lot of the times when you look at the way that you grew up, you tend to find that you grew up in an environment that really punished you for wanting. You really were in an environment that saw you very much as a therapist to a parent or the fixer in your caregivers or your guardian or parents relationship. And very much sometimes you had to play small to another sibling, or you could have also grown up with a narcissistic parent. And whatever your childhood was, the core being was safety, connection were not consistent for you. And that consistently triggered a deep sign of abandonment. And you constantly felt that when you were needy or you were in times of wanting that love or wanting to be picked up by a parent or wanting to be soothed by a parent when you had these big feelings. As a child, for whatever reason, that soothing and that connection didn't come when you needed it, and it came in other times. So it just developed inconsistency inside of you. And obviously, as this child, you learn to tolerate this inconsistency because you don't know how to put words to how you're feeling. You don't know how to put words of expression that you want more, or you do not understand why you're not receiving consistent love. You end up falling into a pattern of love is inconsistent. Love triggers unsafety for me. Love is abandonment. Love is rejection. And that's familiar for me. So, what ends up happening when you're dating or you're in a relationship with somebody that is avoidantly attached, you naturally already feel like your feelings are too big. And you naturally feel that if I ask for more, I'm going to come across needy. And what I'm trying to do actually is pull them in. I'm trying to show them that I'm a safe kind of love and I'm not demanding and I'm really breezy to be able to be with. And in the long run, that ends up creating a lot of resentment for you because you end up not being the partner you really want to be. You end up never really feeling like yourself. You're constantly torn, living this life of perfection. Because in this bubble of perfection, if you could be everything this partner wants of you, because as somebody anxiously attached, you have very much zoned in on what their dream partner is, and you feel you know what it takes to get this partner to lock in and lock down on you. And so you feel that if I lock this person in by being unbelievably perfect, the perfect husband, perfect wife, the perfect father, the perfect mother, attentive to the family needs, attentive to external family needs. You are brilliant at anticipation. You anticipate the day, the moods your partner could have. You are unbelievable at noticing their tone when it's on and when it's off. And this perfection drives you to feel that if I can be so perfect for my partner, then inevitably I will be seen and inevitably I will be loved. And if I'm eventually loved, then I am worthy. And so you end up chasing your self worth in a relationship with somebody that already has very low self esteem and self worth issues. This avoidant partner looks to you to fill them. And the problem is, if they are unconscious, they come to your table, they fill up with all this deliciousness that you have to give them. It's almost always at an arm's distance. You're always giving them love, you're always feeding their hopes, their dreams. You are their backbone, and you're still feeling, why is there a distance? I'm being the perfect partner. I'm not talking about the things that upset them. I can tell that I have a lot to talk about, but I'm on eggshells to be able to do so. And I can tell it's not the right time. Mixed with the frustration of it's never going to be the right time with an unconscious avoidant. And you start the loop of this frustration where you are longing for the love they give you when they are able to give it to you. And you reach a point in a relationship when you are dating somebody with an avoidant attachment style where you crave this deep love. You don't know that you're worthy of a certain kind of love. You're not clear on what your own needs are in that relationship. You never ever practice boundaries because you definitely hold people pleasing tendencies. And you do that because you're so terrified of rejection. So even when you think about your childhood and some of the friendships, you very much could have the tendency to feel left out, to feel that you had to be a certain person to blend into that group, or feel the absolute exhaustion of not being able to keep up with certain people. And if you don't, then you will lose friends and you won't be liked. And therefore, you'll be alone, and alone equals abandonment. And for your nervous system, that shakes you up. And so, when you are with somebody avoidantly attached, you fear that if you are not living and showing up for them in a way that makes them fully satisfied, then you are failing. You are failing at deserving to be loved. Whereas instead, somebody that is anxiously attached needs to truly understand I have to be amazing at expressing what my needs are. And I'm going to be able to feel that I'm not too demanding. I'm going to understand I'm not too sensitive. I'm going to understand I am not being too needy. I'm constantly accommodating my partner's need for distance. You are constantly accommodating their boundaries for distance. You are always adjusting yourself to fit into that dynamic and that relationship. And the reason this relationship already doesn't stand a chance is because you are just not showing up as somebody that needs to express what you need to express, that needs to ask for what they want to ask for, that needs to not be terrified that if you're with the wrong person and they cannot deliver what your needs are, then they are not that person for you. Some of the needs you might have is, I do need to be with somebody that actually wants to see me and speak to me on a daily basis. That's my need. I'm not going to be shamed for it. I'm not going to feel I need to be some modern day age person that needs to be really cool with this kind of distancing love and space for days on end and not knowing when they're going to text me back or they're going to call to meet me. And not be okay with the person also that this person ghosts you and goes blank on you. And when they call you up on a Saturday night, all lovey dovey, showing up with the flowers and the chocolates and the perfume, and dines the hell out of you and then takes you to bed, and you have this profound sexual experience because that's the connection you're deeply looking for, but you're still not getting because the avoidant doesn't experience intimacy during sex. The avoidant doesn't dive down into lovemaking. It's really an act for them of relief. It's not a place they come to give, feel safe, be seen. Their guards are up even in the bedroom. But you, as someone anxiously attached, you take what they have to give and you don't set the rules and the standards for what you want in that relationship. You're the amazing person that decides to go with the flow, and then you end up being really upset later on because nobody has told you that you are allowed to have a voice, and it is absolutely okay that you have a standard. It's unbelievable your need for growth, your loyalties out of this world, your hunger for self improvement is beautiful. But you take all these beautiful traits, and instead of focusing on yourself, you focus on the other person and what they need. So when you're in a relationship with somebody that's avoidantly attached, and you might be feeling, I just don't feel like this relationship gets me, but I really love them, and I'm stuck in the whirlwind of it's good and then it's bad. I'm trying to get the good days to last longer. How do I do that? Back to point one. We really think about what our needs are, and we're able to list out at least 5 needs that we have. And they could be, I need to be able to see you every single day. And if we're married, there needs to be some downtime when I get to just sit and talk to you and we catch up. Either it's at the dinner table, or if we have children and we've put them to bed, then we're not on our phones and we're not putting the TV on, and we're connecting in some shape or form. And if we do love to watch a series together and we do unwind, then we get into bed at the same time and we give each other solid 30 minutes of face to face connection. And the other thing I might be needing off is physical touch. I might need constant reassurance in kisses and hugs, or holding hands, or laying with you for a while in the morning or the evenings. I might be somebody that I want to text you during the day and I want to call you, and that's how I connect. And I want to just know you're okay and what you're doing during the day. I'm not okay with meeting you in the morning and then learning about your day at the end of the day. I want to be in connection, and I want to be with someone that is okay to pick up my calls when they can, and when they can't, will put me on busy and respects me enough to call me back. I want to be with someone where I want to hear that I'm loved, and I want a partner that can reassure me and tell me in healthy ways that they love me. I want to be able to sit with a mug of tea on the sofa and just talk to you about life and feel your curiosity towards me back, just like I would be curious towards you. I want to be someone that I'm aligned with spiritually. I want to pray with my person. I want to spiritually be growing with you. I would like that we're both aligned spiritually for the children in the future, or just to know that we have a sense of higher power, faith, or God in our relationship that glues us, something beyond the two of us. I'm somebody that is into fitness, and I would really, one of my needs is to know that you will take care of yourself, that you will show up and you will be fit because you love me and you will love our future children, or you do love our children, and you want to show up as the best version as a mother or father for these children. Whatever your needs are, you need to not be ashamed to have those needs. And then you need to be not ashamed to have the boundaries, because a lot of the times you fall in an avoidant having these boundaries, and it can really leave you feeling alone and depressed, and really leave you feeling alienated and exiled, because an avoidance boundaries are not to pull you in. And avoidance boundaries are designed to keep you outside at arm's length so that they are safe. Because an unconscious avoidant hasn't understood that getting into a relationship is finding someone that I can feel safe with, and accepting, opening up to, and realizing that the person I'm with is safe. All they want for me is safety. So, as an avoidant person, I have to be able to work on the fact that my partner's not out to get me, they're not out to hurt me. This relationship, even in conflict, it is safe. Conflict is not unsafe. This is work of an avoidant. But when you are anxiously attached, finding your voice and understanding your self worth and your self value is so powerful, because a lot of the times, anxiously attached people feel privileged to be in a relationship. They feel that if somebody is with me, they're almost doing me a favor by noticing me and seeing me. And you end up putting a lot of value on how they love you, not on how you love yourself, not on the things you do for yourself, not on how you show up for yourself, not on the hobbies you build externally, not on the friends you don't lose to be in this relationship, not on the job you quit so you can just constantly be attached to them. It's about learning to have such a secure sense of autonomy that is so beautifully sexy to yourself that your avoidant partner is almost drawn to you, not because of the way to keep an avoidant partner is by distancing from them and not giving them attention. Oh my God, if that's what you have to do to be with someone like that, you should not be in a relationship with them. But it's about having a sense of autonomy where, if the avoidant partner you're with has bad habits of to get your attention, there's pouting, there's control, there's a bit of manipulation, there is their tactic to pull you in by making you feel like you're not adequate, or taking you on guilt trips sometimes that they wanted to spend time with you and do things with you when they are free, and then you feeling unbelievably guilty that because you had a friend lunch or a hobby, or you were out just doing something for yourself, you lost that connection and time with them. Because anxiously attached people just tend to hook onto a partner in a relationship, whether you're dating or you're in that long term relationship. The gap that you have between wanting to be with them all the time is only distanced by the avoidant, not by you. If you could be with them all the time, you would. And that's why when you start to develop being more secure and you start to recognize some of my core wounds of abandonment, of rejection, of feeling isolation, of feeling like my partner will leave me because I don't have a sense of self worth. Some of these very basic core wounds for me, as somebody that's anxiously attached, means that those core wounds are dependent on healing by the avoidant partner, by the relationship that I put myself in, not by taking a step back to understand if I have these core wounds, It would require me to work with my nervous system and understand how my nervous system is reacting and responding when I feel abandoned. What activates my nervous system about being in a relationship with somebody that's avoidantly attached? Every time they distance and pull away, what's happening to my nervous system? Every time we get into conflict and they shout, scream, and then are happy to disappear, get into a car, go away, or get their space, or won't even respond to you and stonewall you, you start to notice what's happening in my nervous system right now as I'm getting activated. And in milliseconds from the activation, I'm in protest screaming behavior because the louder I get, the more I hailstorm on you, the more I chase you and get you to see my point of view and how what you're doing is damaging to me and to you, and all the love that I've ever given you, where you now start to use your love against them as well. The more they shut down, the more your nervous system goes into complete fight and then flight mode. You first fight to be seen, you first fight to be heard, and then you're absolutely exhausted with that. You manage to get a bit of their attention and you go into flight mode because that's when you now punish them. That's when now I've said what I had to say. And you know what? I actually think I'm done. I actually don't think this relationship's good for me. I actually think I should leave. If I had a partner that loved me and understood me, I wouldn't have to scream and shout and do the things that I need to do. And then you go into flight mode, and then from flight mode your nervous system will sink into freeze and you're now in the dorsal stage, and this is when you just shut down and you're unbelievably exhausted and you don't want to see people and you isolate and you cannot fight and you become more agreeable to the avoidant because your body's just exhausted. You don't want to discuss the issue anymore. You don't feel like it gets anywhere. You don't have the energy to react to them. And you've never paused to learn this is happening in your nervous system. So instead, you could respond. And when you learn to pause between the reaction and take a deep breath and pay attention to the heart beating, your palms sweating, your eyes widening, the blood rushing through your body, your temper rising, and you're ready to fight and go, you do have the ability, with many mistakes of getting it wrong, to pause and breathe and say, I'm noticing I could scream right now. I'm noticing I could chase them. Where instead, I am going to turn around and say, I think I need 5 minutes to calm down so I can actually show up to this conversation better, more regulated, and then articulate what I need from you, because I'm articulating what I need from you because I know I'm very deserving of what I'm articulating. And I actually feel healing anxious attachment in relationships and also when you're dating is really a journey and is very powerful to do when you're in that relationship, more as opposed to when you're out of a relationship, because everything is easier single. But when you're learning how to work your nervous system and regulate and respond and show up more articulately and beautifully and more deserving of what you feel your equal rights and space is in that relationship, you actually start to see a difference because your self-worth starts to go up. You don't engage in fights anymore. You'll start to notice that you distance from wanting to repeatedly talk about things that are not having the outcome you need, and instead you start to find different ways to have those conversations or not have those conversations. And the conversations that don't end up with a result with your partner, but instead you start to work on things that satisfy you and make you feel happier, and your tolerance for your partner grows. You start to understand that instead of me focusing and demanding on this person to end up being so perfect or love me in a perfect way, I can pause and end up loving myself in a perfect way so much that when I'm growing to be more securely attached, I can actually do things on my own. And if my partner needs me and my partner's calling me, I'm okay to say I'm busy and We can make plans or we can do something a little later on. Right now, I need to focus on what I need to do because it suddenly is so important to you. Your life is important to you. Your career becomes important to you. Spending time to do things that make you happy suddenly becomes important to you. And anxiously attached people have this tendency to really lose themselves and abandon themselves in a relationship in order to keep love. And I think you have to be really comfortable with first losing yourself anxiously and then losing possibly your partner who is used to knowing you love them from your bad anxious behavior. Because you very much can get into a dynamic where an avoidant knows you love them because you're screaming, shouting, always going to them to talk about the problem, always bringing up the problems, always on top of what needs to improve in the relationship. You're very much in their face, and that gives them a lot of security. It gives them security to know you haven't abandoned them because that's their greatest fear. And then it becomes your greatest fear that you don't want to let them down and be the person that abandoned the person who told you their worst fear was they think you'd abandon them. So you need to drop that load off your shoulder and be able to say, being in a relationship with me now actually feels like we're going to be adulting. And adulting means I'm so aware of the things that trigger me. I have a toolbox, a kit of things that help me when I'm in different states to constantly move back to ventral. I'm not ashamed when I still react and I get triggered faster than my ability to regulate myself sometimes. I feel that's when, as an anxious person, you know you're becoming more secure because now you catch it and you're like, I could have changed that reaction. I could have said something different. I could have shown up a lot more different. I could have shown up with more empathy for myself and them and then for them. You almost have a real big power as someone that's anxiously attached when you stop playing to the tune that they know you're going to play to. They know how to get your love in negative cycles. That's how they feel seen and they feel treasured. And when you stop putting a boundary to say, I'm not having loud fights anymore, I'm not tolerating abusive behavior anymore, I'm not getting into these loud verbal disagreements with you where it leaves both of us feeling so unheard. I really have a request for both of us to be able to win in this conversation. But I could see the way you want to have this conversation right now is the old way for me, and it's not working for me. I love you. I love me too. And I want to have a conversation that has us both win. When you're first putting up boundaries, an avoidantly attached person can feel like they're being alienated, they're being exiled, because boundaries for them means they're not loved. They don't know how to work around boundaries. They get terrified with that. They view that as, are you rejecting me? Are you saying no to me? Are you growing to be a person and I'm not part of you with that journey? Because you have to remember, you you've made them your journey. They've been your path that you've walked. They've been your air, they've been your oxygen. I mean, you've literally had times when you are down to the ground, sick, exhausted, tired, depleted. But if they needed you, you're there. If they needed you to show up for them, you were there. If they needed your help with business advice, you were there. I mean, you've almost perfected being, whether you're male or female, you've perfected being every role possible. Their mother, their father, their brother, the sister, the nurse, the chef, the cook, the doctor, the advisor, the best friend, the cousin. You've mastered every role possible because you want to be everything to them. And you end up being everything to them except yourself. So, an avoidantly attached person can tend to feel when you're setting up boundaries, they're not part of it. So, you can make sure they understand I'm setting up boundaries so that it's not to keep you out. I'm setting up boundaries so that both of us end up winning. I'm setting up boundaries so we can just start having a healthier relationship and start breaking the negative cycles that we've both been in. So you have to be extremely comfortable with understanding that, you've missed out on a lot. You don't want to be with someone anymore that gives you mixed signals on they want you, they don't want you, they're committed, they're not committed. You don't want to be with someone that wants this ideal relationship and then they're not sure if it's with you or it's not with you. Do they love you? Do they not? There's distance, is there no distance? You want to be with someone that doesn't disregard how you feel emotionally. You are a priority for them too. And therefore, if you're with someone that's avoidantly attached, the solution's not to be like, oh my God, you're avoidantly attached. I can never date you people. And if I am dating someone that's avoidantly attached, I need to break up with them. The solution comes down to who you are as an anxiously attached person. It comes down to you making it very clear the roadmap and the relationship vision that you have. And are they willing to be a part of that vision? And if they are, what are they willing to do? What will they do? How will they do it? What is the plan? You don't want to hear the wish list of them. You want to see what they want in action and the consistency from them, because that's the most important thing to anxiously attached people. You want somebody that's deeply consistent in showing up for the relationship, in making not only you, but us as a relationship, the team, a priority. You see that they want to grow, they want to improve. You see they want to get better at communication with you. You see that they're aware of their own patterns and their deactivation tendencies. So you have to get very clear with my vision is I want a relationship with somebody that just feels wholesome and safe, has beautiful fun. We're comfortable with intimacy, and where we're not comfortable, we're great at learning and growing together, because no relationship's going to be easy. It's not going to be perfect all the time. I don't want to be perfect all the time, but I want someone that's definitely committed and not committed at arm's length, is fully in this game with me and chooses me even in the uncertainty of the relationship, chooses me in the moments that test our relationship. I want to be with someone that's a part of that vision. And in return, I will unbelievably, undeniably give you my love and my life, because we are born to be attached. But anxiously attached people really need to understand that they are not too sensitive, they're not too needy, they're not always overreacting. You don't want to be someone with somebody that invalidates your feelings and makes you constantly second guess who you are. You want to be with someone that wants to invest in you and sees the beauty in you, not only when it's comfortable for them to do so, but really sees if you're suffering in the relationship and you're losing yourself to hold this relationship up. So, this is just a podcast to be able, this episode was to open your eyes that if I am anxiously attached and I'm dating or I'm in a relationship, then I need to start taking my power back. So we reclaim our power in this dynamic that very much can leave you feeling lopsided and like you're the glue, you're the burden falls on you. There's no relationship if you don't exist, if you don't do the things the relationship requires. And that can feel unbelievably exhausting. And my fear for you is I don't want you to start getting resentful. I don't want the relationship to not have a chance to work because you took your power away. And I want you to be able to reclaim that power in that relationship, because it really gives you a fair chance to see if this person wants to be with you, then they will also step up. And if they want to be with you, then they will respect your needs and what you bring to the table, and they will treasure how much you love them and your willingness to put into this relationship so that you both always have a secure bubble. But I don't want you as someone anxiously attached, crying at night and feeling so alone. And I don't want you as somebody that's anxiously attached, feeling shortchanged in a relationship, feeling powerless, always thinking secretly you want to leave, but you can't, and feeling trapped. I really want you to understand that you bring so much value to the relationship you're in and so much power. It's undeniable. Your partner honestly cannot do without you. They're terrified of losing you secretly, even if they are the person that can end the relationship and walk away like nothing happened. And that's a topic for another day, breaking up with an avoidant. But even if they could do that, I promise you, you are forever the one that got away. You know that, even if they don't process their emotions and their feelings. But in order for you to reclaim your power and move towards secure attachment, I want you to really replay this episode, first of all, and see if a lot of what I talked about is something you resonate with and is very much something you're going through a power dynamic where it falls more on what they want and they get, as opposed to what you want and you get. So, the ways that we're going to regulate ourselves to become more secure is literally by, first of all, regulating before we react. So when your partner now pulls away, okay, I want you to start to notice your nervous system's going to start screaming, I'm not safe. You're already on such high alert. You already live in hypervigilance. And I want your body to finally get a break and relax. So I want when your partner pulls away or you've both had conflict and you're looking for deep connection and reassurance that the relationship's still safe and they're not present to give that to you, instead of chasing them, storming them with your anger or fears or need for deep reassurance, instead of texting them 700 times a day or writing them that letter or that email or over explaining and demanding answers in that moment. Instead, I now want you pull out your notebooks to pause, ground yourself with breathing, put your hand on your heart, and I want you to say to yourself, this panic is old, and it doesn't mean that I am unsafe now. I am safe for myself, and safety lays within me. Nervous system regulation, dear anxious person, is going to be your superpower. It's how you stop reacting from fear and you start to respond from strength. And it's okay if you mess up. It's okay if you don't get it right. It's okay if you lost it a couple of times. Part of becoming more secure is not a 1 month process. It's taken me almost 2 years because of an incident in my personal life that triggered my anxious attachment to such a crazy level. It's taken me almost 2 years to literally get my triggers down. And now also understand there's a very big difference when I'm genuinely upset and have a right to the tone of that upset versus how I used to be reactive to that upset. Because now when I'm upset, that upset gets the respect it deserves. Versus when I was upset and it should have got the respect it deserves, it didn't because it got lost in my reaction. So that's what I want for you. The other thing is, I want you to anchor into your needs and stop apologizing all the time for things you didn't do. If you're with somebody that's avoidantly attached and they're deeply unconscious and deeply avoidantly attached, they can really make you feel like needing connection is too much. It's not. I want you to start asking, what do I need to feel good in this relationship? And can this person meet me halfway, or am I always shrinking? Because secure attachment isn't about not needing, it's about owning what you need without shame. It's about having no shame to the fact that you are deserving of being in a relationship with somebody because you want your needs met. That's why you're not single. So I want you to write down what makes me feel good in this relationship and what do I need to feel good in this relationship and can they meet me halfway or not. Third, I want you to reclaim this voice. When you're anxiously attached, you very much soften your voice to keep the peace. You walk on eggshells. You're terrified of rocking the boat. You're so hypervigilant. Your nervous system is so on alert to their moods, their bad moods, their good moods. The conditioning of when things are good in the house or they're in a good mood and you need to discuss something, you've brought the mood down. You are the problem. You are not the problem. Peace without your true self is abandonment. So I want you to start saying, I love you, but I'm not silencing myself to be loved anymore. And this relationship has to work for the both of us, not just around your comfort. And that's going to take a lot because when you're anxiously attached, you are terrified of the wrath that comes your way, and you are terrified of them rejecting you, walking out, abandoning you. Part of reclaiming your voice that I'm going to help you with as we go along with these episodes is losing the fear of losing them. If they walk out, breathe and let them. Don't chase after them anymore. That reinstills in them the negative cycle that you still love me and want me even when I have bad behavior, even when I pull away. I can pull away because you fill the gap and come towards me. I want this negative cycle to start ending. And it means you have to start getting stronger with the self respect you have for who you are. And let me tell you something, when you start to reclaim your voice, it's going to get noisy. It'll probably get noisy because somebody else is going to start protesting, and very often, avoidance turn and can become anxiously attached with, wait a minute, something's different. I'm so used to them chasing me. I'm so used to them loving me. I'm so used to needing them. I'm so used to them being depleted, and I know that they're depleted, but their good behavior and my conditioning of them to not ask of me is now confusing me because, wait a minute, they're walking away. They never walk away. They're not screaming and shouting. They're not protesting. They're not slamming the door. They're not stonewalling me. There's no silent treatment. And they just left the house after an argument to go and do their hair, their nails, play squash, meet a friend, do something in regards to something they enjoy. That never happens. I'm so used to when my anxious partner and I have a terrible fight, they wither and they curl up because their nervous system is just seeking my connection, my reassurance. And there's a power I know I have over until I give you that, you're not okay. You cannot focus, you cannot operate. Your nervous system shuts down until it gets the connection that it feels conditioned only can come from me. When you start to become more secure, you understand going for that walk with your AirPods on or your headphones on and breathing and taking the time out for yourself. And in that walk, telling yourself, no, I'm so deserving of what I asked for. And If it erupted in the wrong way, I will apologize and maturely let them know I'm so sorry, take responsibility for my side without making them feel like a piece of crap, because that's what I'm used to doing. I will own my part, and it will completely confuse your partner when you reclaim your voice because they're used to bad behavior still gets them love. And you are used to people pleasing gets you love. But we are no longer going to self abandon ourselves for anybody. So, number three was reclaiming your voice. Number four is you're going to start setting those micro boundaries. You can start small, meaning I need space to also reset when I feel anxious. I'm not chasing you anymore when I feel ignored. I'm going to communicate to you this is how I'm feeling. No more neon signs, meaning I am not repeating myself 700 times. I'm not doing it in a small way. I'm not playing small for you. You can be having a really tough day and a bad day, and I'm so compassionate and empathetic to you. But if what I need to say is also important, then I'm going to ask you when's the right time to talk later on, because I have something so important that I need to discuss with you, and it needs to be discussed today. So I'm open to when you regulate yourself, us having this discussion. So we can be able to resolve something that leaves me feeling better, to be able to also get along with my day. But in the meantime, I can understand you look like right now might not be the good time, unless it is. But please, when would be a good time? Can we connect in an hour or 2 hours from now? You have to be really clear with hello, I'm here now. I take up space in this relationship too. And not only do I have a voice, I'm letting you know that I'm important and my needs are important and what's bothering me is important. And I love you and I need you to help me sort it out. And that's beautiful because I'm not cutting you out by saying, I'll just figure this out on my own. Or I'm checking out the relationship. I don't even need to discuss this with you. There's no quiet quitting. I'm setting little micro boundaries that let you know this is how I'm feeling. This is kind of what I need during the day. These are a bit of my expectations. This is what I'm hoping for. And I'm not going to be on the back burner and okay with things not being put into place, agreements being broken, and all that we set for not only expectations but reality constantly being broken. I'm just not okay with that. You need to be able to voice these things really matter to you. I want you to also stop playing their therapist. You want to have a healthy partnership, and avoidance often always needs space, and they pull away to be able to regain control of their thoughts and feelings, but you are not their healer or fixer. And so you're going to respect their space as long as the boundaries include for you. Space is not inevitable. You are not, I am not okay with you ghosting me and you do that one more time. I'm really certain I'm not picking up your call because I'm just not willing to build a relationship with somebody that's not willing to be seen or will not talk to me. And that is my self worth, and it's freaking powerful. So you are not going to be playing their therapist, and you are going to start partnering equally with them. Now, you might think, but if I'm not their healer or fixer, they'll really be lost. No, you are their partner. When you give advice and you give love and you give affection and you lend when you lend an ear to them and you give the advice you feel is worthy of what they need in that moment, it's not coming from a therapist point of view. It's coming from a partner view, from a lover's point of view, from you being equal to give that advice to them. So if you're always explaining emotions or you're trying to get them to open up or you're managing their discomfort while ignoring your own, then you are parenting them. You are not partnering up with them and you're self abandoning yourself. You have to start letting them do the work as well. Your job's to take care of you, show up in the best version for yourself with equal rights and space in that relationship so that they can respect you, see you, honor you, and want to love you back equally. A lot of anxious people can feel if I'm not their fixer, the healer, the therapist, the savior, if I am not rescuing them, this relationship will fail. Well, let it fail. Let the relationship fail and let your partner start to have respect for who you are in that relationship. Because you will carry this relationship for the next 7 years, 15 years, 20 years, or 40 years. But I'm guaranteeing you at some point, you're going to throw it in their face, full of resentment and hatred and anger and regrets for the life you lost and the energy you could have put into different areas in your life that needed you to grow as well so you could excel and shine in life too. So you need to be very comfortable with your relationship not being your sole focus and the different aspects of your life that finally need attention and the creativity in you and the spark in you, the part of you that wants to go back to work, the part of you that wants to earn, the part of you that wants to be seen in the career aspect of your life needs to come back because you've made this relationship your company and you're the CEO and you overlook every movement happening and you lose control of it because they will do what they want when they want, and it leaves you feeling broken and hurt. And after years, you're going to end up feeling like I dedicated my whole life to this and I feel like I walked away with nothing. Even though that's never ever true. We never walk away from relationships with nothing. We very much take a lot of lessons. We're just sometimes in a lot of grief and pain to see them. But part of you not playing that therapist means you have to stop being really strong to showing up as equal partners for each other. Number 6, I want you to check the relationship constantly against your nervous system. So asking yourself, do I feel regulated in this connection? Do I feel safe to express myself? Am I more anxious because of them or in spite of them? And do you feel regulated in this connection? Could also mean you need to start focusing on doing things that also make you feel regulated so you can tell the difference between the relationship signaling something's very off and the burden is too much upon you versus you are regulated and you feel calmer and more wholesome when you bring yourself to this relationship and your partner responds positively towards that and wants to grow and put in the effort versus you are regulated and connected to yourself. And then every time you're somehow around your partner, it's explosive or it's abusive or it's a power struggle because they just cannot see you growing to be more secure because they're terrified if you become more secure, you might not want to be with them. Whereas in when they move from unconscious to conscious, they very much can see their beautiful value in the relationship is in complementing you and you complementing them, not in one or the other controlling the other person. Number 7, I want you to take up space again. And as I say this, I literally want you to sit upright or stand upright. And I want you to put your shoulders back and I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to think of a time in your life that you felt so powerful and so connected and so grounded, and a moment in your life that you felt so achieved and felt so beautiful. And your body remembers that, and your mind remembers that, and your heart remembers that. And that feeling made you feel unbelievable. I want you to take that space up again in your life, and I want you to connect to who you were before this relationship, even if you stay in this relationship, but before meaning, I want you to make a list today to reignite hobbies, friendships, and routines again. I want you to focus on your physical space, meaning getting your room or your side of the room cleared up, the clutter out. I want you to clean out the clothes you don't wear. I want you to go into the rituals that you've missed. If you're a female, maybe just going back into oiling your body after shower, or putting the hair masks on, or taking the time to go to a salon and just do that facial, or paint your nails at home, or just little rituals that made you, if you're female, feel feminine and so connected to yourself again. And if you're male, I want you to focus on the rituals that made you feel amazing. Maybe there was a time you were more proud of your body than now. You could get back into the gym. You could go for that run. You could start the hikes that you always wanted to go to. You could join the the group of friends that are golfing or going for tennis. Anything that gets you to mix with anybody else and find your personality in those groups. Again, your little rituals of maybe cleaning out your side of the bed, maybe organizing your clothes, maybe organizing your drawer in the bathroom, maybe just going for a face routine that you've never ever thought of. But the point is, when you go for these little rituals and you start to do them, they are moments where you just connect to yourself and you feel beautiful. Every time I finish my shower, I have this tiny ritual where when I put anything onto my face, I'm so present to that application and the energy that I'm allowing whatever's in the face creams I have to have beautiful energy on my skin. When I put the body lotion on, I'm just conscious to the smell and it smells amazing. And then when I spray, body spray, if I know I'm just staying home and I'm not going to put on a perfume, I really smell it and I feel great. So it's just the little things that make you bounce, and they might feel so small, but it's just you being present to yourself again. I want to leave you with really understanding that you're not too needy, you're not crazy for wanting higher standards in your relationship, you are not crazy for wanting more attention from your partner, you are not crazy for whatever you've had to do to get their love. You're just healing in a relationship that triggers your oldest fear of being too much for someone you love, because you are not too much for anybody. And when you start to embody in yourself, I am not too much. I know the love I have to give someone. It is a lot. And I want to give myself some of that love. I want to make sure I'm self full as well, so that the love I have to give someone is thoughtful and kind and safe and compassionate and full of grace and warmth. Remember, secure love doesn't silence you, it softens you. So your love is going to start to soften you. And you don't have to disappear to stay chosen, because that's what you've done all this time. So we're reclaiming our voice and our sense of self in order to finally understand that you are worthy of giving love, receiving love, and you are being love. Thank you for spending this time with me on Love Better. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who could use a little more love today. Don't forget to subscribe so we can keep growing together. You can find me on your socials, Instagram at @ShazminBank, TikTok at @Shazmin_bank. And I'd love to hear your thoughts and really connect with you more. Until next time, take care of your heart and remember you are worthy of love that truly feels like home.